Welcome to a beauty day in the woods here at Empty Mountain. So, for the last little while, Mike has been off-site working a job for pay, and we've been just kind of experimenting since we've moved out here with creative ways to make money or to figure out how to split our time with him working a little bit but for money, but also being able to have time and energy and to work here at Empty Mountain, which is not paid. So we're trying to live a different life out here, people. So it requires some big changes anyway. So he's been working off-site at a job for pay lately, and which is why I haven't really seen too much of him on these videos. But potentially, possibly, maybe, he will soon be working here at Empty Mountain, putting in walls and flooring inside of our 12 by 14 cabin. Maybe we'll be able to do that before the snow flies and we head south for the winter. We will see. But I thought I would take us over, kind of take a look at the wood that he milled last fall. So last fall he milled a bunch of wood that was down. So it wasn't live trees he took down, it was already trees that had fallen, and he milled up a bunch of wood for use on the inside of the cabin, and then we discovered that the wood was riddled with the larvae of pine beetles. And so we weren't a big fan of inviting that inside the cabin. So we tried out a couple of things, and Mike did some research. And anyway, what we landed on and decided to do was stack all the wood. As you can see, we have spacers in that Mike made, so that the wood dries and doesn't get all warped and wiggly in the process as it dries. So this is to try to keep it flat as it dries. It's weighted down on the top, as you can see. So what we decided to do was to see if we could leave it out over the winter and have the coldness of Western Montana winter just like kind of freeze out the larvae in the boards, especially now that it's, you know, all milled and, you know, thinner, and you know, the coldness can get into the boards better. Anyway, that's the dream and the hope that we've kind of frozen out the larva, but we haven't like unstacked it to look at it at all yet. So we're hoping that it worked and that we can safely put up the boards inside the cabin. And we're also kind of hoping that we'll get the boards inside the cabin, you know, to have walls and flooring. So earlier this year, Mike did the siding of the cabin. That was awesome. It looks so good, and it just feels nice to have the outside be like done, which is cool. And then yeah, so then up next is finishing the inside of the cabin. And so once we get flooring and walls in, we'll be able to actually build the kitchen and put shelving up, and we just haven't been able to do any, you know, finishing inside because of not having walls and flooring. So we're hoping that will be a thing that happens. We'll see what happens. But I thought maybe I'd do one last kind of, potentially one last tour about in the cabin here before maybe possibly we get walls and flooring. So, you know, this will also get a big revamp when we put finished wood over top of the OSB here. And so, yeah, so I think the plan is to maybe put metal. We've talked about maybe rock. I don't know. Anyway, something will happen here that's less makeshifty than just this firewall protection of these scraps of metal. So, yeah, so this will be nice and fireproof for this wood stove situation here. And we'll travel on up here. So, this will all get walls soon. My understanding is that these black spots that you're seeing on the insulation has something to do with like how the glues or something like heat up inside pockets of the insulation or the wrap or something. I don't know. Our understanding is it's nothing to be concerned about, or it's not like black mold or anything. But it looks pretty unsightly and it looks a little frightening. Our understanding is it's not actually frightening. There's nothing to worry about. Mike is also going to do some wiring before he puts the walls in. Because right now, Shira, which is our solar power system here, our battery setup and everything, like this is our outlet box. So, and it's just piped right into the machine. And so right now we run an extension cord up to the loft to have like power outlet up there. So we'll probably change that and he'll put in some wiring. So something that we were interested in, because Mike you know, built this cabin with these awesome rounds of wood. These are sort of like our main foundation here, or like load bearing posts. We wanted to keep these visible, so intentionally, so when we put the walls in, we won't be covering over these, at least not entirely, so we'll still be able to see each of the corner wood posts that are kind of the structural support of the cabin here. So, but when we get walls, you know, we'll look to put shelving in, so we have more storage, which will be so nice. And we'll be able to actually build a kitchen, so we'll have countertops and shelving, and we'll actually get a cook stove that sets in and probably pipes out to a propane tank outside, and make this, you know, just like a more permanent situation. And all under here, I think this will all be internal storage underneath that he'll build into, so that'll be a built-in storage under there. We'll go up in the loft here too, just take a look around. So we also plan to put like low shelving here for clothes storage. This is sort of Mike's side, and over there's mine. So potentially putting in some built-in storage over there too, and maybe trying to find a creative way to make use of some of the slanted loft space up here on the walls. I don't know, I'm guessing Mike can find some creative ways to make that shelving, maybe for like books and stuff, which I would love. So anyway, so this is our loft up here, and the view from down below. Mike also has plans to you know, take out this OSB and put real wood up here, and also make a banister is also his thought, to just, you know, cause safety. Speaking of safety, this is a newer install too, this handrail here for going down these step/ladder. He also has plans to make these slats, to rebuild this, I think, and make these wider, which I was like, works pretty well. Why does it need to be wider? And then he reminded me that he's a foot taller than I am. And he's bigger, so his feet are bigger, like, he's just bigger, and so, like, these are a little too narrow for him. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes good sense. Yeah, we should do that then. But at first I was like, why do you need to rebuild it? This is amazing. So sometimes I forget our height difference and our size difference. And other times I'm acutely aware of it, like when I go to use a tool and I'm like, this is a Mike-sized tool. And Nicole needs a Nicole-sized tool, and then sometimes we get a smaller tool for Nicole to use. Because size differences, you know, so. Anyway, it'll be so nice to get flooring and walls, and I'm really looking forward to, I've mentioned this a few times, really looking forward to getting a kitchen that is like more permanent and not a plastic table and a 2-burner Coleman camp stove. However, again, this has been working amazingly. Like, we have everything we need. It's working super well. But I'll be glad to have something just a little bit more permanent and set up, and more shelving. Most of our kitchen stuff is in the storage container out in the parking meadow. So, like, I just have the basic necessities in here, which again has been working. It's awesome. It's been great. So both things, awesome and great, and also looking forward to getting this upgraded and improved and a little bit more solidified. So kind of take a peek out our windows here. There's a mama and her baby deer that love to hang out back here. So often I'll see them back there rummaging around. It's been lovely. And this is it. This moment, this is it. This life is it. And a wonderful life it is. And a beautiful fall day in the woods it is. As always, thanks for tuning in. And we might not have a video for a few weeks. So there's that, just as an FYI. But we'll definitely plan to post at least 1 or 2 videos before we fly south for the winter. So, still working on how to end these videos, so end scene.